Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are around the world, welcome to Proof of Talk. My name is Gareth Jenkinson. I'm the head of multimedia at The Block. And today is officially the first day of The Starting Block. That is The Block's new daily show. We're soft launching here at Proof of Talk. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to the show and finally get it started in real life. We've put a lot of time and energy into the overlay, what the show is going to look and feel like, and this is the first time we're doing it live. So as you can see right at the top, live from Proof of Talk, I'm talking to you in real time. Very interesting time to be going live. The markets are in the red. You can see the price ticker above me. It's not looking so great. We're going to be talking to lots of big names in the industry over the next 2 days to unpack what's happening in the markets and also just unpack big trends and the most important things that you crypto natives out there want to know about. We're starting things off with Carlos Jimenez. He is BD and partnerships at Rain. Carlos, first things first, welcome to Paris. First time here?
Not first time here. I was actually here on a personal trip about 2 months ago, and then I was asked to come to Proof of Talk. I repeated the same exact trip again, just a little bit rainier this time in Paris.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's a little bit cooler, not so hot and sweaty like coming to the event.
Yeah.
Carlos, talk to us about Rain before we get into a much broader conversation around stablecoins. But for anyone out there who's watching the live stream that doesn't know what Rain is, give us a TLDR.
Yeah, so Rain provides the leading infrastructure for money movement on stablecoins. We started with a card product, so essentially allowing your end users, our partners' end users, to spend crypto in the real world via card. We had a broad partnership with Visa. We recently added MasterCard as a partner as well, so we're able to launch on both networks. But we're broadly building additional cases of money movement in stablecoin around the world. So whether that's on and off ramps, whether that's cards, whether that's holding funds and wallets on the Rain ecosystem, we're essentially building that world-class infrastructure for stablecoin money movement globally.
What does that look like for the actual user? I mean, is it just sending and receiving and having the ability to tap a card that's actually using stablecoins instead of fiat currency in a bank account?
Exactly. So for users, the Visa card experience and the card experience with Rain feels like any card you've used in the past. So you as a user don't see any difference in how you're spending with merchants globally. Our cards work with any merchant that accepts Visa or MasterCard around the world. The uniqueness is behind the scenes. We're settling directly with the networks in stablecoin. So there's no need to go back to fiat. We deliver stablecoin directly to Visa in our partnership with them. That creates a lot of efficiencies for our partners. So stablecoin settlement is every single day. Traditional banks don't settle Saturday, Sunday, holidays. So that brings a lot of operational efficiencies to our partners as well.
I think there's been a lot of people in the industry that have been building this tech stack, but a big barrier to it becoming prolific has been regulations in different jurisdictions and where you can do this and where you can't. How has your team gone about tackling this and the industry in general? Because it does kind of feel like if you ask any crypto native, it's like, I've been using stablecoins for years and years now. I should just be using it as money. Why hasn't that happened up until this point? Why are we at this, this prolific moment?
Yeah, I think there's a couple important pieces. The biggest criticism of crypto in the past is you could have thousands or millions of dollars of Bitcoin in a wallet, but you can't use it in the real world. So we bridge that where you can keep crypto in however you want. You could have a custodial model, a non-custodial model, and you could spend it in the real world via card. A big part of it too is compliance and the KYC side. So we take compliance very seriously. Our biggest team internally is our compliance team. And that team needs to make sure every end user is KYC'd the same way that maybe a more traditional financial services firm would. We do need to maintain that level of compliance and adhere to regulation in every region that we're working, whether it's in the US and looking at what Genius is transforming the industry to look like, whether it's Mika in Europe. So that's something that is in constant movement and flux, but we've stayed very, very close to understand how to best position our tech stack and compliance to meet those requirements.
I think a lot of people that came to Paris last night or over the weekend were sitting down having conversations about the trends in the industry. And I know me and some of my teammates were kind of, over the last few months, been talking about, man, we're so into this institutional kind of era, and are we moving away from some sort of cypherpunk ethos where we were going to be using Bitcoin as money? What are your general thoughts on that when it comes to how people are using crypto now, and especially stablecoins versus like the Bitcoin purists that would rather just be able to use Bitcoin as money and nothing else?
Yeah. I don't think it needs to be one or the other. There is an interesting decoupling. You mentioned markets being in the red. Stablecoin adoption has continued to increase regardless of price movements of ETH or Bitcoin or whatever it may be. So I do think there is a difference there in how each one is being viewed and just the use cases. There are models. So with our partners, even though our cards are powered and backed by stablecoins, there are partners who allow customers to spend against balances in other crypto assets. There's always a stablecoin in the flow of funds and how the model works and is pre-funded. But we work with a lot of exchanges, for example, who their end users may hold a mix of assets, including Bitcoin, and they're simply creating kind of a pre-funding in stablecoin to allow users to spend down their Bitcoin balances. So there's a mix of both. And I think at the end of the day, we don't want to be the ones who choose. We want to power programs who let their end users kind of dictate what their preference is, and we want to enable them to spend that in the real world, regardless of whether it's directly holding stablecoin or maybe Bitcoin in certain cases.
Let's talk about the superpower of stablecoins. Last year I went to Lugano and I had like a private conversation with Paolo Arduino, and he was kind of explaining to me why Tether didn't want to get a MiCA license because of the complexities of the rules around keeping customer deposits in certain banks, and then those banks being able to essentially run fractional reserves. And as a stablecoin operator, you need to be highly liquid in order to, serve people's withdrawals or redemptions on those tokens if they want to do that. And he was just worried that, hey, if I agree to MiCA, I might fall into the trap of fractional reserve banking, which I thought was very interesting. But at the same time, he was like, forget Europe, because that's not where stablecoins matter. They matter in emerging countries, Latin America. I'm from South Africa. Lots of African countries are using stablecoins as well. Can you talk a little bit about the utility of stablecoins for emerging countries versus very established markets like the US or Europe?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because there's the simple piece of dollar demand, right? We see a lot of stablecoin adoption in countries that have high dollar demand. Therefore, stablecoins is a way for them to access dollars. Yeah. So if you think about Bolivia in Latin America, where there's very little dollar supply, then there's a lot of demand for stablecoin and having dollar access. In developed markets, there's still use cases that we're seeing. So, for example, remittance players, maybe some of them have a card as a part of their stack, maybe some don't. There is the simplicity of adding money movement with stablecoins in their flow. So imagine you're a global remittance player and you're moving fiat in different places. Could you use stablecoin to move money and then have those end funds accessed via a card backed by stablecoin? It's a lot easier than having to deposit money in country A and withdraw fiat in country B. So that doesn't necessarily have to do with dollar demand, just with the simplicity of money movement. You're probably saving some sort of 6 to 9% remittance fee in that process. Yeah. There's also the piece on just operational efficiencies and collateral that I mentioned. For a card program specifically, whether you're in developed markets or elsewhere, if you're running a fiat card program, you may need to hold 5 to 7 days of collateral against a card program. Yeah. With stablecoin, we settle every single day. So we could free up 60, 70% of that collateral since we can settle Saturday, Sunday, holiday. So we're seeing institutional demand from developed markets for either operational efficiencies or some sort of cost savings for end users or some part of the money flow. So we see both. We see demand in both.
I mean, you come from Latin America, South America. I come from South Africa. When I look at moving money from South Africa to Europe or vice versa, doing it through the conventional, traditional like banking system feels super clunky and slow and expensive. And now that we have stable coins, I'll be honest with you, if I want to move any sort of portion of money, I'll just do it with stable coins and I can get it into an exchange and off-ramp that side, and then I've got money there. Why aren't more people just gravitating towards that? Do you think there's still a bit of a kind of mixed perception around the industry and what it is?
Yeah, I think there's a UX friction or challenge, right?
Yep.
I think there are a lot of people, probably followers of yours, who love the non-custodial model and they're happy with managing their own funds however they would like. There is some UX friction there. So for users who aren't as familiar with the non-custodial model and which wallets to use, we think that's a challenge, which is why we have a multimodal offering where you could have a typical more custodial model and still have a card powered by stable coins on Rain infrastructure. So I think there is a challenge there of just UI. A lot of our partners are thinking around how to build around that. So for example, we have partners who leverage stablecoins behind the scenes and simply offer USD accounts to their end users, and they kind of remove the crypto or stablecoin layer from the end user, because then it becomes more of a mass market product.
Yeah.
There's some users who definitely want the self-custody model and they're happy to own their keys and manage their keys. So I think offering both or the right mix to the right audience is what's important. That's probably what's missing there for broader stablecoin adoption, just understanding that UX of holding assets and feeling safe around holding them.
Yeah. How did you get into the industry, by the way?
Yeah, so I come from a more traditional finance background. Right before joining Rain, I'm from Puerto Rico, and that's where I live. And we launched a digital bank from scratch as a part of a team that I was a part of. And so traditional bank, FDIC insurance, 0 to 1, so choosing the banking core, selecting whether we were issuing with Visa or MasterCard. Learned a lot about payments in the process, but also saw there were gaps of how you could build using more innovative things like blockchain and just being more at the forefront of building a global product and a global ecosystem. And what got me really excited about joining Rain is the global mindset of the company and how we're building. We have clients around the world. We can issue cards in many jurisdictions where we currently work with Visa, and now we're adding MasterCard. So joining was more learning about this space, but also seeing that bridge of the world I came from and understanding how stable coins can power something that more people think of as cards being more traditional finance. There is a stable coin in crypto tie that I thought was super interesting.
There's obviously a lot of service providers that do similar things. Like, what differentiates all the different companies that are moving into this space? And, does first mover advantage matter? And, is there kind of at the end of the day, one winner takes all when it comes to, like stablecoin cards, stablecoin banking, this kind of neo-banking service that we're moving towards?
I think it depends on the function, right? There's a lot of wallet providers, for example, and that's something that some people might consider more commoditized, of just understanding the storage of funds. We think the broader stack is an interesting place to be in terms of how can you partner with companies who may not even be familiar with crypto and crypto rails to fully power the end-to-end experience of holding funds, spending funds, on and off ramping. We do think in that broader connectivity and just being a big player there, not necessarily winner take all, but you could see how Visa and MasterCard have completely dominated money movement around the world. And it's two big brands. Maybe each region has a couple other big players in terms of card networks, but we do think there's the opportunity to disrupt and play a role there in money movement. And it may not look like 2 or 3 companies, but we do think, if you fast forward, there may be new players facilitating a lot of the money movement around the world, either in combination with existing players, similar to our partnership with Visa, but others who are bringing innovation and making money move in an easier, cheaper way.
What does the future look like for Rain? You were talking a little bit off air about moving into Europe and this kind of thing. What's happening in the next year for you? Yeah,
it's important to us to be operational globally in as many regions as possible to power what our customers are looking to do in each region. Europe has been a region where we haven't been involved in the past because there's a specific regulatory regime, and you need to be very well versed in Europe and having a local set of operations here. So we are looking at getting our European operations live over the summer. We have a small team based in a couple of countries here. I was in Madrid recently, right before coming to Paris. We have a couple team members there. So we're excited to have more of an operational footprint in Europe in the coming months, and powering both our existing customers who may want to expand into Europe, but also net new customers in Europe who are looking to do creative things in the stablecoin card issuance space. So we're super excited to expand and have a stronger presence here in Europe.
Beautiful. Carlos, thank you so much for your time. I think we're going to take a short break before we move to the next speaker. If you just joined us on the live stream, welcome to Paris. We're broadcasting live from Proof of Talk. This is the very first time we're doing the Starting Block, which is the Block's new daily live show, which we will be launching properly in a few weeks' time. So here we are. If you've just joined us, please like and retweet the broadcast so other people can tune into the conversations that we have coming up today. We've got lots of big name speakers, which I will give you a rundown of when we come back on air. So keep it locked, like, retweet the broadcast. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Paris. We're broadcasting live from Proof of Talk. My name's Gareth Jenkinson, head of multimedia here at The Block, and you are watching The Starting Block, which is The Block's new daily live show. We'll be launching properly in a couple of weeks' time, but this is the first time we are doing the show live from a conference. So you're very welcome. We hope you enjoyed the show. In 2 days of programming, we're going to be speaking to the biggest names in the industry about the biggest topics and narratives. I'm joined now by Chris Miglino, who is the CEO of Axe Compute. And I think it's a really timely discussion because the race for compute, for infrastructure, for graphics cards, for hardware to power this AI beast that we've built is almost insatiable. But let's take it a step back. Maybe you can just give our audience out there a brief introduction of who you are, what you do with Axe Compute.
Sure. I'm the CEO at Axe Compute. Axe Compute is a NASDAQ-listed public company. It trades under the symbol AGPU. So it's easy to remember if you want to put that in your phone. And we're in the business of creating large-scale AI bare metal infrastructure and renting it out to large corporations. That's the core of our business, is to create, finance, deploy, manage large GPU clusters to the corporations that are now realizing that they need to have their own AI infrastructure. And so we're servicing that audience. So we're going out and finding the data centers, the power, the compute, and the management of that, and then we manage it on an ongoing basis.
Yep. I think it's crazy to see the pivot away from mining and this kind of hardware being very much focused on Bitcoin mining in years past, and especially when Ethereum was still working as proof of work. Lots of people were just buying graphics cards to mine Ethereum.
Yes.
Now we're in the age of AI. These systems require a huge amount of computing, the actual hardware, in order to do what they need to do. And there's been a very clear pivot. Even some of the biggest Bitcoin mining companies have diversified, and they are apportioning a lot of their hardware to this part of the industry. Would you say it's clear that it really has disrupted and most people are moving in that direction?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's so much demand that the Bitcoin miners and other infrastructure inside the crypto space is realizing that there's a better financial opportunity and less risk to rent the machines out that they have to an off-taker that'll take it for 5 years at a guaranteed rate of return. Because they could always go and issue or put more machines out into the market. So you're finding that a lot of companies that have the infrastructure have shifted a lot of their resources over to the AI arena. Some of the biggest Bitcoin miners out there have done so. Some have even taken their AI piece of it and spun it out into other companies, and they're keeping it a little separate. So it's growing quickly. The demand is insane, bigger than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. So the amount of revenue that's generating into this is significant. It's going to be around a $7 trillion deployment between now and 2030 in infrastructure. $7 trillion. This year alone, there was around $756 billion that has been deployed. That amount is funded by companies that have free cash flow of around $350 million or $1 billion in free cash flow. So there's a shortfall. There's an opportunity for investors to come in and fill that void. So that's what we're doing. We're filling that void beyond just the Anthropics and the OpenAIs of the world who have sucked up everything they can get their hands on. There's a lot of other people that need it.
You mentioned you've kind of pivoted away from, I want to just put in inverted commas, the crypto side of things, but Axe Compute used to be involved in the BitTensor ecosystem?
Well, previously in a different fund that we invested into Axe Compute, we were involved in the BitTensor ecosystem. We're a very large miner on the BitTensor ecosystem, and then we were a very large miner of the Aether ecosystem. Both are AI-related tokens, so we are very familiar with the Bitcoin space or the crypto space and the decentralized AI space. Yeah. I think there's still a massive opportunity there, but the opportunity for centralized compute is too big right now to pass up. We could always get back to the decentralized side of it once we sign up $10 billion worth of centralized compute. So our goal is sign up as much of that as we can now with the financing that we have in the public company, and get those transactions done, and then we can provide the opportunity for decentralization.
I found it very interesting, having those conversations with people involved in DeepIn. The value proposition of decentralized compute was that, like, you either want to rent out the compute, but find peers in a network that aren't a big sort of warehouse, or you have a few miners or a decent amount of hardware, but you don't want to do it in a big data center, and it provides an avenue for you to do it in a decentralized way, which is fantastic. But as you say, the appetite for the hardware itself from centralized players, the Anthropics of the world, ChatGPT, Grok, everyone who's doing these inferences need a huge amount of hardware. And my next question is, do we have enough, H300s out there and graphics cards to...
Yeah, B300s.
B300s,
So there's, you could have bought H200s, which is the older version, a year ago for $150 to $180. Now, this year, they're renting $250 an hour. So the price of older machines is even going up. So that'll give you a sense of what's happening in the market. The vacancy of availability of power is the bottleneck. It's not the compute. We can get the compute. We can buy the compute. It's the availability of power at data centers, and that's getting filled up. And other countries are starting to deploy most of the inventory. 70% of the data center inventory is between the U.S. and China.
Yeah.
Most of that inventory is sitting in Virginia in the United States, close to the all of the intelligence agencies of the United States, right? So there's value in that AI. So the deployment of power that's happening in the United States is very distributed. It's a bunch of different data centers trying to get approval to put the power in, and there's a lot of opposition that happens. Countries like China are building massive data centers with huge amount of power, and there's not an opportunity for opposition, right? Yeah. So they're just getting it done. So while they have less data centers, they're bigger in nature, and there's more power there. And that same thing is starting to happen globally outside of the United States. While the United States has been the dominant owner of that space, the rest of the world is starting to catch up and figuring out who has power that can drive this, because there's a significant amount of value there.
So from your perspective in this business, I mean, you'd said that you were in the bare metals business, but there must be a huge incentive to actually go and build power plants as well then. But you need a lot of money for
what?
that. Like build the actual power infrastructure though.
Yeah, that's another business. Our business is like, for us, you can look at us like the data center that we own compute all over the world in many different data centers. If you're a data center owner and a power data center owner, that's a long process. You have to get the permits, you have to get the power. That's a 3 to 10 year process to go through. I have clients that'll step in and do a $300-500 million transaction in a matter of months. So it's a completely different dynamic of what we're providing to the ecosystem. So we go out, we find the data center space all over the world globally, and then we fill those holes with compute that fits the client's needs, and we finance it. So at the end of 3 years, we'll have clusters that are located all over the world that we own that we can then release out. And hopefully the market is like it is today. And those machines that we're buying now are just as valuable as they are today, if not more, like you're looking at the historical data.
Yeah. Do you think the market's running a little bit hot in the AI sector, or do you think this is like a drop in the ocean right now?
I think that, if you look at what happened during the internet spike and then ultimate boom, it was, if you looked at the earnings ratio against the value of the stocks, it way outpaced it. That is not happening here. The value that's being contributed is truly there. There is EBITDA, there is net earnings that are happening. So the underlying value is inside the ecosystem. Now, maybe it has a little bit of a cool off, but ultimately it's going to continue on. The amount of demand that's out there is incredible. We have deals that we're doing now where if the client that wants a space doesn't come up and write a check within 2 or 3 days, they just lose the power and they lose the equipment because somebody else takes it. And at first everybody was like, we'll wait till it calms down. And it hasn't calmed down. And now they can see that if they don't do it now, they're waiting till late 27, late 28 to deploy. If you wait till late 27, late 28, your competitors are eating you on the AI front. So they have to do it and they have to step up and write the checks.
Yeah, it's quite different as well. Just if you look back a few years to, the Bitcoin mining boom and then the Ethereum mining boom, and a lot of people were throwing a lot into it, but it really comes down to utility and who's using the service and for what. And it's undeniable that AI is bringing magnitudes of efficiencies to so many different industries that it would make sense to put your money here over above any other kind of innovation that exists today.
It's a different risk profile. So like within a GPU, we're providing a real service that has real net income. We're not speculating on the price of a token, right?
Yeah.
So the Bitcoin miners were doing fantastic when Bitcoin was running up. All the stocks were going up and ripping and everything was fantastic for them. Then it's very cyclical. It starts to come down and it's very tied to the price of Bitcoin. Had they taken those same data centers and rented them on an EBITDA basis to certain companies and had locked in earnings, they would have, I think, traded better up to this point. So I think that the question about is it overrun that you had is more suited towards the Bitcoin mining and the crypto mining of things, because that's so cyclical in nature. When it's great, and when it's not, it's not. So the AI business is a real business. There's real money that's happening there. I'm not saying Bitcoin mining is not a real business. It's fantastic. It's just much more volatile in nature, and it's harder to finance. It's harder to finance the deployment of the massive types of clusters that you need to drive AI if you're speculating on a token.
Yeah.
It has to be driven by real earnings and real contracts with companies with real credit.
Yeah. My final question to you, I mean, you're very clearly deep in the AI ecosystem now. There's a lot of people that have kind of doomed over it and said, it's gonna completely disrupt industries. Everyone's going to lose their jobs. What does this actually mean for humanity? What's your more philosophical take on the AI movement in general?
I think that everybody, especially young people, need to learn AI. They need to learn how to engage with it, and they need to learn how to use it. I tell my kids they have to learn how to create. You can create anything,
Yeah.
You can. Any idea that you have, you can create it. So corporations on a massive scale doesn't mean that they're going to fire developers. It just means their developers are going to become that much more efficient. And the amount of work that a developer can do, they become much more of a product manager than an actual developer, but they think like an engineer, so they know how to tell AI what to do and engage with it in that manner. So I think that it's fantastic for the development of software, development of ideas, the evolution of what we can build as a society. I think that there are certain jobs that are going to be impacted. I think that you look at legal, accounting, that these are stock trading, people that are giving you advice about your portfolio. These are all things that AI is going to eat. And then once everybody says, well, the physical side is protected, the plumbers and the the electricians. Well, once the robots are trained to do that kind of stuff, that job will also have an issue. But those people that have those jobs can get involved in training the AI, getting it up to speed, managing the process. Yeah. So there is opportunity there for them. So I think that while it is a massive disruption to what we know as a society today, the opportunity of it is beyond comprehension. I mean, I think that the best thing that you can think about as just like creating your own brain inside of AI, right? This is happening now. People are creating memory, people are creating brains just for software development side of things. But when you're creating memory and brains inside of your own self, your own consciousness, your own interaction with humanity, so that your kids can come back and ask questions to you when you're not around, so that you can get advice for how somebody might perceive something. This is a piece of evolution that I think will help consciousness move to the next level, because there's so much consciousness that will be transmitted from some of the most enlightened beings in the world that can transmit that information quicker, faster, and more efficiently to other people, so that they can learn about, what it means to be conscious as a human being.
Yeah.
So.
I love that riff, by the way, because I've been thinking about that. I mean, like, that's moving towards the singularity, right? And being able to port our minds actually into silicon chips, if we could all have access to Elon or Jeff Bezos, and tap into some part of his consciousness, that would be unreal.
I mean, I think it happens in your lifetime.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there's people out there watching the stream that have played, Cyberpunk, which is, a game that came out a few years ago, and that's literally a big part of the storyline, is imprinting a consciousness into a chip and being able to put that chip into other vessels, So yeah, very, very cypherpunk. And just my 2 cents on that, I think it's very much an optimist versus pessimist kind of approach when it comes to AI, and the amount of things that I've been able to do in my personal capacity very quickly that you've been wanting to do for years, and then suddenly you can bring the thought into reality and build something. It never used to be possible, and now it is. So it's if you're not optimistic about it, then that's on you.
You could be a naysayer about it and be negative about it, but what is that going to serve? What's that going to get you? It's happening no matter what. No matter if you're negative about it, it's still going to happen.
Yep.
It's not going to help you.
Yep.
You might as well embrace what. There's not going to come a day when they say, okay, this is not happening.
Yeah.
It's just getting better and better and more evolved over time. I mean, look how fast it's growing. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's actually hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up. Chris, thank you so much for this fantastic conversation. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching the live stream. We're going to be live throughout the day, so keep an eye out on the Block socials and Proof of Talk socials. We are broadcasting live from Proof of Talk right here in Paris. It's the first day of the Starting Block, the Block's new daily live show. It's a pleasure to have you with us. If you haven't already, please like and retweet the live stream so we can get more people watching throughout the day. We've got some big names joining us, including Adam Back. So if you want to come and listen to that conversation later this afternoon, you know where to find us, right on the Block socials. We'll be back very shortly with our next interview. Welcome back to Proof of Talk here in Paris. The block is broadcasting live from this conference, and it is, of course, the first day that we are doing the starting block, which is the block's new daily live show. We'll be doing it remotely in a couple of weeks' time, but this is the first time we're doing the show, so if you're enjoying the content, please like and retweet. Once again, we're at Proof of Talk, broadcasting live. We've got lots of big name speakers joining us later this afternoon, including Adam Back, Evan Cheng, who's one of the co-founders of Miston Labs and the Sui blockchain, and Matthew Seigel from VanEck, who I'm very much looking forward to speaking to and chatting about the landscape of tokenized assets and investments in the US. But we're going to shift the conversation this morning to media, and I've got my good friend Mark Sean Brown, my former colleague at Cointelegraph. He was the head of social media at Cointelegraph for a number of years, 2 years. And just for context for the audience out there, when you joined Cointelegraph, we at the time were still only just tweeting links to our website articles. You came in, you employed a strategy that was very much content first for the platform, and we went from something like 15 million impressions to 180 million impressions a month. So you were literally the secret sauce for us. And I want to have a conversation with you today about how much has changed in the last 3 years, especially with the rise of AI tools and where you see everything going. But maybe for everyone out there who doesn't know who you are, just give us a TLDR.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's been a lovely journey. Cointelegraph, when I joined, we were roughly on about 15 million impressions a month. And within 6 months, we managed to pump that up to nearly 200 million impressions. I think there's no secret sauce. I think the biggest thing there was the consistency and then realizing how to frame things for the broader audience. One of the main things when writing on social media as a whole is actually addressing, you know, the people that are non-native speakers as well. I feel like a lot of people try to sound too smart, try to do things a little bit too technical, and when you're doing it in social media, you just want to make it as simple as possible, and I think that was really the secret sauce. To be honest, within the first 6 months, we saw explosive growth, and you know, Cointelegraph did really well on socials, and the truth is that it's an ever-evolving landscape, and what's trending today and working today might not be the same in even 2 weeks from now, and I think AI has done a lot for that specifically, and I think having a chat about AI and how that's impacted social media and media as a whole is probably going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, so let's get into that. I mean, first of all, you announced that you're leaving Cointelegraph, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks. But you have also worked with a number of different influencers in the industry over the past few years. You've seen different people do different things and what works and what doesn't work. Since we've had the advent of Claude, ChatGPT, all these really powerful LLMs, it's made it very easy for a lot of people to create a lot of content and good content, but you can't just take AI slop and put it out on X. How have you kind of tried to find the balance between using AI tools to help with copywriting and ideation, but also keeping it authentic?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think first and foremost, it's really good for research purposes. It makes the job a lot shorter, and it allows you to learn a lot more in a shorter space of time, and it allows you to pull data which previously would have taken hours. Secondly, are we there yet? Can AI completely replace a media team, social media team? I mean, technically you could. Would it be of the same quality? Definitely not. Yeah. I think the advent of Claude or Anthropic, all of these different AI platforms has been really, really interesting to see, and it's been really beneficial. But truth be told, I don't think that AI itself is at the level where it can actually replace a creative person in a social media department. And it's really easy to see when someone has used AI for the most part. Yeah. And I think if you really want to be honest with yourself, you need to be using these tools to advance your progress, and you need to be using it to truly leverage for research and so on. But we are definitely not at the right place in terms of replacing an entire department, no matter what headlines you might be reading and what founders think they could be doing this.
Yeah. It's been really interesting to see a lot of big social media influencers in the crypto space in the last year transition almost completely away from crypto content just to AI content. And I don't want to name people, but I think of people like Miles Deutsche and a few other people that are, it's almost like they weren't in crypto. They're now fully in AI. At the same time, you've got a great Instagram channel. You're doing a load of how-to videos on how to use Claude and other AI tools, and we're really at that moment right now where people, the layman on the street, doesn't know where to start when they start using these tools. Are you surprised that a lot of these big crypto influencers are now going into that? And like, how are you trying to differentiate what you're doing?
I think that's what a bear market will do to people, right? when the prices aren't popping off and things don't look that pretty, people pivot, and naturally it's a pretty smart pivot. The growth curve for AI has been absolutely phenomenal, and I think the appetite for AI content specifically has been really, really impressive.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a good look? No. I think that people need to stick to what they're really good at, and I think if your community and your audience got to know you as a crypto influencer, or for lack of better words, KOL, I think it's important to stay true to who you are, and flip-flopping between different narratives based on the price of Bitcoin is probably not the best look in the long term. But I think it's been interesting nonetheless. For my personal profile, MSB Intel, I've seen a massive appetite and massive growth actually over the past 30 days. And I haven't seen growth like that pretty much across any sector. The tech and era sector specifically, AI sector specifically, are absolutely booming at the moment. And the most interesting part about it is we live in a little bit of an echo chamber, to be honest. The 1% that knows a lot about AI, they think that translates to the broader audience. Most people are still using AI just for prompting.
Yeah.
People are just typing into ChatGPT, hey, what can I do? Or can you write this email for me? Can you proofread this contract? There are different levels to this, and I think the most important level right now, which people should strive to get to, is using or leveraging AI to actually run agents for you, to do certain tasks, to use your time more efficiently. And I think that's where we need to get, and 99% of people definitely aren't there at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah. You've worked with a lot of big protocols in this space. Can you talk a little bit about like market sentiment right now? My general take is I think there's such interest and such potential to make a lot of money investing in AI companies and stocks that it's taking a lot of liquidity out of the crypto markets, and that's why we've been sort of in this prolonged bear market. We're not offering trading or financial advice. We're just giving opinions on the general state of the market. Like, how do you see things playing out? Because you are on social media every day, controlling some of the biggest accounts, setting the narrative and actually seeing what the trends are.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting to see what's happening at the moment. There's definitely a lot of budget still being allocated, but what we're seeing at the moment is that the landscape is changing rapidly, right? People trust people more. They're not trusting influencers as much. They want to do more research themselves, and I think that some of these bigger brands are realizing that very quickly, and rightfully so. I think that's really positive. But going forward, I think we're going to see a lot more community-driven advertising. And even in the AI space, it's pretty interesting. The more polished content is getting less and less clicks. People want raw, authentic, kind of like, I've got a whiteboard marker, I've got a whiteboard behind me, I'm writing down, almost like you educating them physically, which I think is really interesting to see. So, and this is a broader trend across YouTube and most socials. The polished content is getting less and less clicks, which is kind of counterintuitive. People put so much effort into editing, into making things as perfect and scripted as possible, whereas the more raw and authentic content is actually getting pushed more by algorithms. And honestly, if there's ever been a better time to grow in social media by doing talking heads content, just yapping to your camera, now is the time. It's never been easier.
Yeah, because there's been so much AI slop out there that people actually just want to see an authentic human telling you what they are. And like, that's how I always approached radio when I worked in radio in South Africa, was just like, who I am when you meet me here in person is exactly the same person I was when I was sitting in the radio studio talking to people. And that's what people want. They don't like when AI bots are responding to you on X and stuff. I don't want to talk to an AI bot. I want to talk to Mark Sean Brown, or like whoever else it is that's interacting with your content. I don't want to go too long here, but the final point, like as we've got your lower third as a social media expert. You are a social media expert. In my mind, you're one of the best people in the industry. I've worked with you for a number of years. You are the best. Like, if anyone's watching this out there that's like 1 to 10,000 followers on X, what would you say is like an easy win for them to start building their account and getting
Yeah.
more engagement and impressions?
I think you need to be really, really vigilant about what you want to actually tell people. What is the value that you can bring? How can you separate yourself from the rest of the pack? And how can you relay that information in the most simple way? And then you need to get pretty smart with how you're going to actually curate that content. I think the biggest trend that I'm seeing right now is putting a face to the brand. You know, if you want to create carousels and you just want to post and be a keyboard warrior, you might see some growth, but actually putting a face to the brand, regardless of your experience behind camera, regardless of anything else, this is the right time to step into owning your personal brand and truly just putting out content that resonates with people, choosing your target audience and the relevant niche that you're in, and speaking and delivering your truth, delivering your value and your opinions. I think that's probably the easiest way to do things, and doing it as simply as possible, for sure.
And AI is not going to take your job. Are you using it a lot? I mean, I think you're using it more than most, but
Yeah.
in smart ways, not just prompting and like copy paste into your thing and pressing post.
For sure. Yeah, AI is definitely not going to take your job, but someone that's using AI every day will. I think that is just a matter of fact at the moment. We are moving and advancing at such a rapid rate that if you aren't leveraging AI to help you, perform more efficiently, someone else is, and that person will likely replace you within a short space of time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not me or you. Mark, thanks so much for chatting to us. If you're just joining us right now on the live stream, we are broadcasting from Proof of Talk here in Paris. It's also the first day that we are broadcasting The Starting Block, which is my new show here at The Block. We'll be launching it properly in a couple of weeks' time. But here we are, the first time IRL doing the show. If you're enjoying the content, enjoying the live stream, please like and retweet. We've got a couple of big names joining us this afternoon. Adam Back, Evan Cheng from Miston Labs, Matthew Seigel as well. So please keep it locked on the live stream. Keep an eye out on the Block socials for any other big updates or news that are coming out. And if you don't already, please go and follow the Block across all social media platforms. We'll be back very shortly with our next interview. Welcome back to Proof of Talk in Paris. We're broadcasting live from the conference, and if you're just joining us for the first time this morning, this is the Starting Block, which is the Block's new daily live show. We'll be launching officially in a couple of weeks' time, but here we are in IRL with the branding on screen. The tickers are looking red, so don't let that depress you too much, because we are having good conversations. We're talking about the biggest topics in the industries with some of the biggest names in the industry as well. And it's a great pleasure to be joined by Martin Durker. He's the co-founder and CEO of Zirkit. Before we get into some bigger trends and news in 2026, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience, for anyone out there who doesn't know who you are and what Zirkit is?
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Happy to be here. So my name is Martin. I'm a co-founder of Zirkit, as you said. I am a software engineer by trade. I have probably almost a decade now of experience with smart contract security, smart contract auditing, and blockchain security in general. And this is actually how Zirkit originally actually started. So what we do now, we actually do something completely different. We provide loans to large asset managers. They give us interest in exchange or some premium, and we project that onto the depositors of our vaults in the form of yield on chain. So this is what we do. We collect stable coins, and they receive yield. Everything is with the security posture. As I mentioned, we are a team experienced in that, so we have a lot of opinions on what's happening in DeFi, how we should be doing DeFi, and so on. And once again, happy to be here.
Okay, perfect. Just on the history of how you got into the industry, 10 years developing on smart contracts, started in Ethereum ecosystem first?
Yes, it started in the Ethereum ecosystem. I actually started in 2018 in a company called QuantStamp. It's a smart contract auditing company, one of the very oldest ones, and I was one of the very first auditors on the team. Together with the team, we've done, I think, over $3 billion worth of value that was under the audits. So yeah, a lot of work there.
Yeah. When it comes to auditing and security, it's been a pretty rough year for DeFi. I was trying to find a number in terms of value stolen or exploited in DeFi protocols in 2026, and it's somewhere in the region of $800 million to $1 billion. So it's not been a good year for DeFi. And a couple of weeks ago, we were in Consensus, and I sat down with Joe Lubin, and I asked him very much the same question. Are all these DeFi hacks a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, obviously they're a bad thing, but he was very much of the opinion that this is the nature of things. And just as, robbers robbed gold on the King's Road, people coming in and exploiting DeFi protocols is showing you what the problems are. That's a very optimistic look at it, but let's take it back to the start. Why and how are these DeFi protocols being exploited right now, and why haven't we seen it happen sooner?
Well, so I will actually start by a statement. I don't think that DeFi actually had a good year ever when it comes to hacks. I mean, every single year, when you look at the total value lost, the number is tremendous. Like, I don't have so much money. Probably very few people in the world have so much money that, somebody just extracted from DeFi protocols. So I wouldn't say that this year was particularly bad.
Yeah.
It just wasn't any better than the years prior to that. Now, so what we are actually seeing, blockchain securities is evolving, and the kind of attacks that you are seeing in the space that is extracting majority of funds is over time changing. So we had popular period of smart contract hacks using flash loans. We had popular period of bridges being targeted. I would say that what we see happening right now is actually maybe operational compromise. So majority of hacks come from some kind of a privileged role being compromised. Somebody's machine, either through software being distributed through some packages, or through social engineering, or through something like that. Somebody literally compromises the machine of a person who is allowed to somehow either withdraw money from a protocol or somehow upgrade it, resulting in the money being withdrawn, and so on. So this is what we are seeing. And now, the follow-up was, how do we protect against that, right? I mean, this is really hard, and it's actually on the responsibility on the individual teams. You know, like if you look back, kind of Web3 came and said, hey, we have blockchains, amazing technology, immutable distributed ledgers. One of the best use cases for that is finance, and we are now going to do finance, and we are going to do it better than all the banks and everybody else who has been doing it for decades. And they have decades of experience with this operational security. They know that, you know, their networks need to be protected, their machines need to be protected, their employees have to have very limited privileges, and so on, right? Web3, it doesn't have as an industry so much age, you know, on its own, right? And I would say, you know, at least at the initial stages, it was actually attracting a lot of developers who didn't have so much experience. They didn't have so much formal education and so on, right? It was mainly enthusiasts who gave into this beautiful vision of self-custodying value. So how we protect against these hacks is we actually become very, very responsible. We say, you know what? No, there are best practices. There are, you know, operational security practices that absolutely need to be maintained, and we just like stop giving up our private keys and private keys that manage other people's money. You know,
Yeah.
that's what needs to happen.
But there's still some players in the space. I think of like Andre Cronje, who's like, I always test in production, you know, and like that's a dangerous game to play, right? But you also can't stop people from doing these things with their protocols, and then everyone who is putting money into the protocols is taking a risk.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. We actually touched on that during a panel just a second ago. So one of the questions was, hey, everybody can vibe code a vault these days, you know, over one weekend. Actually, I would argue that it's over half an hour or something like that. So is this a feature or is this a liability? And I say that it stands sort of somewhere in between. I would say that we sort of matured as an industry and as, you know, users of on-chain finance and DeFi. And I would say that if somebody comes and says, hey, I test in prod and I vibe code and I've done that last weekend, you know, and you've never heard of me or something like that, such products will these days not gain traction. Right now, we live in the world where, you know, a lot of users of blockchains and DeFi and financial products are actually institutional, they are regulated, they have some kind of obligations, they are managing other people's money, and they are trying to be insanely responsible because, you know, there was a number of lessons in the past that they could have learned from, right? Yeah. So they no longer have this degen nature of like 2021, 2022 that was available all around, and they very, very much ask the question, so what is this vault? You know, the vault itself, this is like a boring infrastructure. It is supposed to collect deposits, and it's supposed to somehow channel them further, right? Yeah. It doesn't do much else. So people are asking, well, what is that further? Where is this going? And that's not something that you are actually going to accomplish in one weekend, and we actually have responsible operators that are growing. So I would say that test in prod, that's defeated.
Can you, just for the audience out there that might not understand a lot about vaults, how they work and what that approach to DeFi is?
Yeah, it's actually pretty much what I exactly said right now. Vault is a smart contract. It can reside on, you know, any kind of blockchain. It doesn't have to be Ethereum. It can be Solana. It can be anything that is programmable. And the primary purpose of that smart contract is to collect funds. And then the second thing that the vault needs to do, obviously, needs to allow you to withdraw funds if you are authorized to do so. But then the vault takes those funds and it channels them into some other strategy. Is what we call it. And strategy is that active player. It can have this form of a smart contract if it resides on chain. It can be something that puts money into Aave, but it can also be something else. It can be a smart contract that is somehow accessible, by some asset manager, and they actually have the privileges to withdraw the assets and somehow manipulate them further. But strategy is then the active player that somehow generates the yield, and Vault receives that yield from the strategy, and then somehow, you know, we assume that it, you know, is designed to distribute it to the users. But this is already up to the logic of the vault. So I'm 100% confident that you can find some vaults out there that, you know, actually do not do that, and so on. But when we talk about vaults, primarily it will collect some assets from you, and then it will provide them to the strategy for, you know, active yield generation purposes.
When you look at the state of security right now, do you think that the AI tools that we have at our disposal are going to help us a lot more to audit smart contracts and this kind of thing?
Yeah, 100% they will, and they already are helping. I would say, if you have a smart contract auditor who is not these days using AI, then they do not value their time, and it's not that they should actually like type into the AI tool, hey, can you please check this smart contract? And I will not even take a look at that. Yeah. But, you can use AI tools for rapidly speeding up your learnings, the initial phase of ramping up on the protocol, right? How does this actually work? What is intended? What is not intended? You can, use AI for discovering really, really deep things. You can, have it double check the math that you have already double checked. Right? Yeah. Again, you're a responsible auditor, but AI is really, really good at that. But here's the other thing: it helps the good actors, but it also helps the bad actors, right? So I am fairly confident that, for example, the balancer hack from the end of the last year, with the rounding error that was triggered by certain positioning in the pool, I believe that was discovered by some aid of AI somewhere there. The other effect that AI actually has is it sort of destroys bug bounty programs, and that's something that we kind of like chat about in the background as protocol operators. So bug bounty programs for every single company in the industry are now flooded by submissions by AI agents that are hallucinated and like mostly actually irrelevant. They are really hard to judge, but just by looking at the sheer number of what arrives, there is definitely a lot of AI looking at security of a lot of systems out there. And smart contracts, they're actually really, really good for that, right? Because they are public.
Yeah, for sure. It does. It offers you that that openness to let everyone have access. The question then is, how is there even a way for us to stop people utilizing AI for nefarious purposes? And like is the AI going to know like that the person is prompting it because they're actually just trying to find an exploit and extract value?
No, there is no way how you can stop people from using AI for some kind of purpose. There is no way how you can stop people from using any kind of tool for a nefarious purpose. No.
You just got to make sure the security is the smart contracts are airtight and that you've beaten anyone to the punch.
Exactly.
Basically.
But while maybe the stakes actually seem to be a little bit higher right now for some reason, maybe through how powerful these tools are. But I will also add that this was really never different. Like we as auditors, we always use some automated tools for certain types of analyses and for discovering certain types of bugs. And, the black hats, they were using them exactly the same way as we were. They were developing their tools. We were developing their tools. AI is just another tool. Yeah. So, it doesn't change so much, but the stakes seem to be somehow higher. Yeah. I don't know why.
No, for sure. Do you anticipate like these exploits in the DeFi ecosystem slowing down a bit, or do you think it's just our AI tools are so good right now that they might actually accelerate for some period of time while there's this battle between good and bad developers trying to secure the code and bad people trying to exploit?
So, I don't know, just by, mathematics, it should actually at some point slow down, right? Like you have finite number of contracts that currently exist on chain. You have finite number of vulnerabilities that are exploitable live in the internet everywhere. And then you have these tremendous tools that have, some success rate on finding them. Like eventually you should run out, right? Yeah. So I believe that it will slow down. However, before it slows down, I think that it's actually going to be kind of really bad. And, now we can actually get into a little bit of a philosophical discussion of what it means that it slows down, right? You can look at, DeFi hacks or on-chain hacks from multiple perspectives. You can look at the number of hacks that actually happened. If you broaden your definition, you can actually look at, phishing campaigns. So, again, the number of victims. Or you can actually take a look at the really deep but highly impactful hacks hacks that suddenly steal $250 million, right? And there is only one. So you can either go by TVL or by total damage. I think that while the number of hacks in DeFi is going to be,
Less in
slowly
volume.
decreasing, I think that maybe the amount of funds that are being drained, that's not going to decrease so much, because as we gain more confidence that DeFi is safe, that it can actually hold the assets are naturally going to gravitate to what we deem safe, and everything is safe up until it's not. It's
Yes,
not,
exactly.
So. Yeah.
That was my perspective of it when I was thinking about, like conventional banks and the interest rates you're earning. Like, here's an example. I sold a house in South Africa, and I was looking to deploy this capital, and I didn't want to just put it in a bank savings account that's going to give me X% return. So I vibe coded a website like Skyscanner style that told me all the different yield rates from, there's a lot more complicated websites that give you that, but I wanted it to be as simple as possible so you can just see, like, this is the yield and how it compares. And I did that, and then, like, a few weeks later, the entire, the big Aave exploit kind of happened. And then you go and look at all the rates and stuff, and it was completely different. And suddenly it was like, maybe it was better to leave my money in a bank account than move it into a DeFi protocol. But I was one of those people saying, like, DeFi is safe enough to just put all your money in, but it's still in flux,
It's absolutely correct. And I think that it's even further exacerbated by the way how we sort of compose DeFi, right? Because you actually mentioned the Aave exploit. It actually wasn't an Aave exploit.
Yeah.
What it was a cascade of an exploit somewhere else, caused by somebody else. But it was so big that it made a lot of vaults out there uncollateralized, right? And maybe that's not actually a vulnerability directly in Aave. That's sort of like somehow assumed, right? Yeah. That it might happen, and you just want to list only the assets that you sort of trust. But it is totally possible that when you are participating in DeFi, you will get damaged by a mistake that happened somewhere downstream. The protocol that you are deposited in has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But they take the consequences.
That's
right?
the risk, right? That you see.
Exactly. I actually saw something else that piqued my interest the other day. So Circle, apparently froze USDC in some vault for privacy reasons and for regulatory reasons, right? One of the main functionalities.
We're talking about Zama, right?
Yeah,
yes?
yeah. One of the main functionalities of vaults is that they perform accounting, right? And they want to know, hey, if I claim to have so much and so much USDC, so my share of a vault is worth so much and so much USDC. Well, all of it needs to be withdrawable. Otherwise, that accounting actually became wrong, right? Some part of that vault is, not collateralized. This is an interesting move that happened, because that signals that under some conditions maybe the very same thing could happen to your vault. Is that vault coded in that way? Is it going to be dead in the water? What's going to happen? So the surface is not just the vulnerabilities that you have in the smart contracts, but it's the evolving universe of other conditions and other regulations and orders that can impact the logic one way or another.
Just to wrap up our conversation, maybe we can just talk a little bit about the directionality of the ZK movement and how you've seen that evolve over the past few years. I used to write about it quite a lot. I think especially when Starkware had their big raise and that kind of stuff, I was covering Ethereum quite a lot back then, but not so much anymore. But your general outlook on that, and then maybe the markets where we sit right now. If you look at the ticker on the screen over there, it's looking pretty red.
Okay, so very quickly, there are sort of like two use cases that ZK was promising, right? One was we will use it to speed up blockchains and all of that. The other one was privacy, and I will only reveal information, and it was aimed at the retail user who wants to, show ID without showing the birth date. I think that the former already happened. We successfully are using ZK in many networks. There are many ZK rollups, be it Zirkit or be it Starkware or be it ZK Sync or anything else. I think that that technology fairly matured there. I think that in the latter, the retail phase, we are still facing lack of adoption, and there is a long way to go. I do not see it happening yet, but capability-wise, I believe that we already have that capability, and as technology, it has matured. That's to keep it brief.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a great pleasure, Martin. If you're just joining us on the live stream, we're broadcasting from Proof of Talk in Paris. This is the Starting Block, the Block's new daily live show, which will be launching officially in a few weeks' time. But this is like a sneak peek of what we're going to be doing on the show. If you're enjoying the content, please like and retweet. If you're not already, go and follow the Block platforms across our socials. We're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook. I think I said Instagram already. Go and find us online on the socials, and again, like and retweet. We will probably end this stream, and we will be broadcasting again this afternoon. But we're going to take a short break before we end the stream. So stay with us. Welcome back to Paris. We're broadcasting live from Proof of Talk. If you've just joined us, this is the starting block, the block's new daily live show. We're launching it officially in a few weeks' time, but this is the first time we're doing it IRL. If you don't know who I am, my name's Gareth Jenkinson, head of multimedia here at the block, and I'm joined by a good friend, Michiel van der Pop. You'll know him as the co-founder of MN Capital and MN Fund, and if you've been trading crypto for a while, you would recognize him for his great trading content. I mean, I remember a few years ago, me and my brother talking about your videos, like, oh, this is how Michiel's trading the markets right now. So, like, all these years later, we get to actually have some fun, and whenever we see
We
each
do
other.
have a lot of fun, right?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
we do.
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it's good. If you look over at the screen on the right, the markets are in the red. What do you think's happening right now? Like, what's your read of the situation?
To be honest, it's quite a complex market nowadays. Like, with the fund, we try to navigate it as much as we can, but you see Bitcoin going down, and since the start of this week, all of a sudden Ethereum starts to catch up and starts to show some strength against Bitcoin, which is fascinating. And then you have Near, Hype, XLM. It really feels like the markets are going to get into a bearish shape when Bitcoin gets into some sort of bounce, or at least bottoming out. So I'm getting hyped. I think that we are in a period that is going to be probably AI somewhere 2026 or whatsoever that we can reference to as 2020.
Yeah.
So it's good, but we just need to wait for a little bit of a bounce on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and for the traders out there, like, pick the right horses. I think you've often said online that utility should always trump everything else when you're looking for, like, to invest your money in smart plays and not just be a degenerate, like, meme coin, gambler. But if you look for protocols that have value, have use cases, and people doing things on them, that's the right way to play. And I mean, it's been really interesting to see the Hyperliquid play go to where it is now. Top 10 coin. A lot of the big podcasters in the space have all been talking about it, and they're finally like, we were telling you. Same thing goes for Zcash. A couple of other tokens out there. You mentioned this ETH catching up to Bitcoin the last few days. How reactive do you have to be when these things happen, when you're managing your investments and your money?
I think overall you need to have a core thesis, and I think what we have established within the trading strategy that we have is that Bitcoin is the main navigator. But like, Bitcoin is the main navigator for 80% of the markets. And what you see right now, as you mentioned, if a protocol is generating value or is generating revenue, it starts to get a lot of attraction and a lot of interest from social media. Like last week it was all about Near, or the week before it was all about Hyperliquid. So the hype is going to move quite fastly between those, but all the liquidity will be moving and flowing into the ones that are showing strength. And I think that is a good concept. I think that if you really start to accrue value within the protocol, you deserve to get the attention that you get.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Ethereum has been changing a little bit in terms of momentum is that probably there are two factors. One is we got the Clarity Act coming up in the Senate, perhaps this month or early next month. I think the fact that people were undervaluing the impact of the Clarity Act, or like having a negative sentiment towards that, is pushing down the price, especially the yield component. I think that doesn't make sense. I think the Clarity Act is one of the biggest narratives for Ethereum to do well. And the second one is Ethereum doesn't go well when the yields are still going up and when there's a lot of uncertainty on that part. I think Tom Lee has been writing an article on it that he says that the correlation between yields going up and Ethereum going down is near to 1. So I think that once we get into a stage where the yields are finally on government bonds in Japan and US are finally turning around, it's going to be the time that DeFi can actually start doing well, and then all of a sudden Clarity Act comes along, and that's when the entire Ethereum narrative starts to wake up again.
Well,
so I think there are multiple factors here. But when we start to get into some levels on the technical part, and our fundamental thesis is that the Clarity Act is going to be positive, that's when we start scaling in.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, narratives and social pressures that come into these things. David Hoffman, from Bankless sold all his ETH. What did you make of that? Do you think it's just, like, crazy after all these years that he's like, I don't believe in this anymore? Because that's kind of what it felt like to me.
I mean, probably we're going to look at it and say that was the ultimate bottom call. That's kind of the scope that it feels the same as that project in 2018 that was saying, look, we're going to use our treasury funds and we are going to short Ethereum because it's going to go to $70 bucks, and they were liquidated within a few weeks because Kobe has been buying the Ethereum back then.
Yeah.
That it feels kind of the same. And I get him. I mean, Ethereum hasn't performed for the past 5 years. It has done absolutely nothing. And if you were in Solana or in all those other protocols, your performance would have been great. But it doesn't mean that what has happened is going to happen again. And I think that Ethereum is on edge of going into the biggest adoption cycle that we're going to witness within crypto, which is probably going to be called as the .com type of phase.
Yeah.
So I want to be positioned into Ethereum as a very large position from this standpoint.
Yeah. Let's talk about Michael Saylor. He
Yeah.
finally sold some Bitcoin. That was, I mean, he said it in an two earnings calls ago that like we will at some stage probably sell some Bitcoin. It's now happened. Bitcoin crashed, but it wasn't directly correlated to him selling some Bitcoin. Have you looked a lot into the dynamics of what he was doing in terms of the rebalancing and why he sold the Bitcoin? Or do you think some people's read of it online is that it was actually more like psychological? You know, he needed people to see that they can sell some Bitcoin and it doesn't break the system.
It's kind of, he's done it twice now, right? The last time was at
In
the actual
2022,
bottom.
yeah.
And then he rebought it 2 days later.
Yeah.
This time he was also selling his own shares for like 130 million and
Yeah.
then using a few million to just sell some Bitcoin to say fuck all. And that's essentially what he did. I tweeted about this and I said, look, we got over this now. He sells some Bitcoin, which is fine. That's his model. He builds a financial product out of his company. At some point he needs to sell some Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is underperforming, he needs to pay his bills as well. So that topic is now gone, which means that there are less and less hurdles for the markets to turn back upwards.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually net positive for the markets if he sold some Bitcoin, yeah.
But I think the main gripe with people online was that he had said so many times, never sell your Bitcoin, you know, like throwing around the cliche. And then in 2026, he's like, no, okay, I'm actually going to sell some Bitcoin. It just makes me wonder, like, I know that he's convicted on Bitcoin and he couldn't have built the financial products that he's built on any other asset. I just don't think Ethereum strategy, you know, treasury companies work or function the same as what he's done with Bitcoin, and he wouldn't do it with anything else. But it does kind of, it's like, it does still feel like a bit of a slap in the face after all those like years of saying like never sell your Bitcoin.
I think yes and no. I mean, ultimately, we are the ones putting him on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And we are all talking about it. Like, let him do what he wants to do. The markets will decide eventually. And I think he mentioned it in another interview that he did, where he said, look, if I sell, price goes up. If I buy and I tweet about it, nothing happens. And now, like, it's not like he's moving markets or so.
No.
There are bigger players, there are bigger forces, like BlackRock has been, or the clients of BlackRock has been selling for like billions over the past few weeks, for whatever reason. So I think it's just a very small portion of the amount of flow that you see in the markets, and crypto has the nature of actually putting him on a pedestal that I think he shouldn't be on.
Yeah. For the audience out there, like a couple of years ago, you like exited your Bitcoin position, which is actually not dissimilar to like David Hoffman selling all of his Ethereum.
Yeah.
What was your thesis at the time?
Well, it's still the same as now. I expect one big cycle to take place where you get such an enormous amount of return that in this stage of life, I can still take the risk for. My prediction is that I'm going to have a family at some point, have some kids. Yeah, nowhere I'm going to like spend all my money and put it in some random altcoins. Not random to me, but they sound quite random for someone listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I decided to do that, and then it was kind of a joke of doing that, but along the way I figured, oh shit, actually thousands of people have been following me on this journey. So I'm in between, like some questions were, do I need to quit? I said, well, that's not transparent, so let's just continue doing it. Okay, what's the best strategy going forward from here? So that's when I decided earlier this year to start buying some more, or DCAing, which I also tell to the clients.
Yeah.
That worked out well because we bought into Near, we bought into Tau, we bought into some other protocols. And I'm down like 45% now from my initial investment, which compared to many altcoins is quite okay. And I'm sure that once the markets start to go back, you see it with Hyperliquid, you see it with Zcash, you see it with all those protocols getting attention, it goes so fast. So you need to be positioned at this point. Yeah. And for me, it's like a journal that I feel pressure on of like the
Yeah.
people following me.
Of course.
But I enjoy that as well.
Yeah, man.
It challenges me in becoming even better.
Exactly, and yeah, you wear your heart on your sleeve when it's. I've had lots of conversations with people about authenticity, and this is part of that. It's like, this is how I'm trading, and like, if it sucks for you as someone who's been following me and you maybe traded like I traded, I'm just down as bad as you are. So it's
Yeah.
not like I told you to buy something and then I dumped on you. I'm holding the same thing and I'm in the red.
But I think, well, I mean, ultimately, holding it hasn't been productive for me because simply holding it also gives me negative flow on the businesses that I run. So fundraising for a fund where your altcoin portfolio is down 70% is not really the right strategy. So you can have an answer and say, yeah, it just happened to me. I mean, if it was going to be right, it was going to be great. Yeah, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, I should have done some trades different, which then again is like the constant journey of developing yourself and building the appetite of like reflecting a lot. And that's what I've tried to do in the past few months, and I'm finally hitting some good ones, getting some feedback on that, but also the inner motivation starts to wake up again.
Yeah.
And I think once the markets are going to go up, I get some sort of feedback that's going to be very positive, which I do not deserve either. But that's just part of it, and I think just having fun doing it is finally back, and that's probably the most important part.
Like from the outside looking in, it just looks like value investing. You're looking at protocols that are actually generating fees or revenue and have lots of people using them. And like, it actually doesn't take a rocket scientist, but the token price doesn't necessarily follow that. But if you choose winners that are actually have built something of value,
Yeah.
that's what
It will
ends
come.
up. Yeah, exactly. So I think that you've got it right. I'm looking at the screen in the far right corner there. We're looking at, is the bottom in? What are your general thoughts? Like, we're in the midway. It's June now. We're midway through 2026. I called it at the beginning of the year that like we'll see Bitcoin trade between the 50 and 60,000 mark, but we haven't gotten that low. And I thought that this would be a really bad year.
You should start a YouTube channel doing
Yeah.
some technical analysis. on that.
I've been missing. Yeah, I just need to do a little bit of technical analysis, and maybe I'll have as many followers as you. But what do you think's happening?
I think the consensus right now is that we're going to bottom in October.
Okay.
That's like Benjamin Cohen is saying it. Like everybody is saying it because of the 4-year cycle that needs to happen. I think it's a fair scenario. I think I have some questions whether we are going beneath the 200-week MA, which is now at like 61, 62. I also have some questions surrounding the big correction that we saw in February. If you analyze it between Bitcoin and gold, the chart, Bitcoin valued against gold, I think we have already hit the bottom. It's just a matter of finding ourselves into a higher low or some form of bottom in this region with this correction. If that's going to be higher, from that point on, what we've seen with all the altcoins getting attention is just going to extend. Like in no bear market, we've seen that protocols are hitting all-time highs versus Bitcoin continuing to fall. So I question whether we are actually seeing a bear market or if we are at the start of a bull already. Like it's a different mechanism than like 3 months ago. And I think that going forward in the summer, it's going to be even more positive if this lasts.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right. It would be nice for this to be the early stages. Yeah, you have been. But you're still going. Other people left. I mean, there's a lot of crypto
You need to stay in the
KOLs.
game,
But a lot of guys just pivoted to AI.
Yeah, I just had a podcast episode and someone said, all the tourists have gone to AI to scam people in AI. And that's kind of like the scope that we're currently in.
It does feel like that.
If you truly believe in crypto and the future of crypto, there's no need to move out of the markets. If the markets have been shit towards you in terms of like price predictions or price action, probably you need to change your trading appetite.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, crypto, we are here in Paris, all the institutions are deploying capital. It's growing and growing and growing. So I have never changed that narrative or that view, but price could follow, yes. That would be great.
It could. Michiel, it's always good to talk to you. Thanks
It's
for
my
coming on the
pleasure
live
as well.
stream. And if you aren't already, go and check out his podcast, New Era Finance.
Yep.
He's been talking to some of the biggest names in the industry. He's also here at Proof of Talk, recording some podcasts that'll be coming out soon. So if you're not following him already, go look for his socials. Check out New Era Finance. And of course, if you don't already, please follow the Block channels. We're going to be broadcasting throughout the rest of the day here from Proof of Talk, and we will be back for the whole day tomorrow as the official live stream partner. We're going to say goodbye for now, and we will be back this afternoon. So keep it locked on the Block socials. We will be back from Proof of Talk. Until then, have a fantastic lunch wherever you are around the world.